everyone. Thank you very much for coming to our session here at BabyTech. My name is Jeana. I'm the associate producer of BabyTech Summit. I just want to remind everybody that at 3:30 today, we are going to be announcing the finalists for the Best of the Bumps BabyTech Awards right here on this stage at 3:30. So right now, we are going to be having a panel on the high-tech nursery, smart and connected. So moderating our panel, I have the pleasure of introducing Julie Wang. She's the site director of The Bump. As the site director of thebump.com, Julie Wang is responsible for overseeing the editorial team, developing compelling celebrity and real people stories, and creating brand and high-profile franchises for the brand. Welcome, Julie. We're pleased to have you.
So thank you, everyone, for attending our panel on high-tech nursery. We're very excited to be here. For those of you who aren't familiar with The Bump, we're one of the largest pregnancy and parenting sites for millennials. And we've seen over the course of the last few years so much digital and technological innovation in the nursery space. And this is why we're part of the BabyTech Summit this year. And we will be unveiling the Best of Baby Tech Product Awards here at 3:30, so come on back. But right now, we're very excited to talk about the digital innovation that's happening in the nursery space. We have a great group of panelists here with us today, and I'm excited for them to talk a little bit about who they are, what their roles are, and what prompted them to do what they're doing in the space. So let's kick it off with Anne.
Sure. Hi, my name is Crady Weiss, and I'm the founder and the CEO of a company called HatchBaby. HatchBaby is creating a series of smart nursery products for new parents to help make parenting a little easier. We also have a free connected baby tracking app, and that app is designed to help parents passively track through our devices all the information that they and their pediatricians care about. The way I came to this is I was an executive at a company called Baby Center, which reaches 80% of new and expectant moms in the US, and sold my last company there. And I also have a personal interest. Our smart changing pad, what it does is it helps you understand how your baby is growing, and it also helps you understand that you're producing enough breast milk for your baby. And when I had my daughter, that was a real personal concern of mine. Was she growing, and was I producing enough for her? And so I both have a professional and a personal interest in our first product, and we're excited to be here, and thanks for having us.
Yeah. Dulcie?
Sure. Hi, my name's Dulcie Madden, and I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders at Mimo, and we're building the Connected Nursery. Our first product is a wearable baby monitor that helps to track sleep. It looks at breathing, skin temperature, body position, all with the goal of helping a baby get more sleep so that a parent in a household can get more sleep, because we think that households that sleep more are happier. I came to this because we had developed actually the technology side, so we have the sensor technology, and we talked to a ton of parents who were just emailing us all the time saying, I'm not sleeping at night, I want a better baby monitor, I want to know more information about what's happening. And we just started working with parents, got our prototype out, and felt that it was the most fun, and we haven't looked back since. Yeah.
Jeana?
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Jeana Tahnk. I'm the Top Tech Mom, and I'm a technology writer, and I contribute to sites like Mashable, the Huffington Post, Parenting, and Cool Mom Tech. And I'm fascinated from a media standpoint on the growth and explosion of all these digital products. So I really got into technology right out of college. I worked in tech PR, and then really became fascinated by the way technology integrates into our families' lives after I became a mom myself. And I have 3 kids of varying ages, all the way from 2 to 10, so I've really seen the progression of how much technology is involved in parenting these days as compared to 10 years ago when there was virtually nothing. So I'm just fascinated by the space.
Great. And finally, Aliëtte.
Yes, hi, my name is Aliëtte van der Wal, and I'm the global business leader of Mother and Child Care at Philips. And as you may be aware, Philips is very committed to help people live healthier lives. And actually, the first 1,000 days of a child's life are critical for its future health. So actually, a key, the first 1,000 days, the health there is actually a key foundation for the health of our society. As Philips Avent, actually we have over 30 years of experience in helping and supporting parents. And personally, I'm super excited about the opportunities that new technology gives us. The digital innovation is the opportunity for actually all of us to make a meaningful impact for the health of our children. And that's just massive. And me, as a mom of 3 children, I'm super excited about that. So as Philips, we are actually designing a medical-grade parenting platform to support the healthy development of each child, combining medical and consumer data. We're actually turning that into advice and support for parents to make the right choices for their child at the time and the moment that's relevant for them. The digital platform, the YouGrow digital platform, is connected with a range of products, amongst which are connected baby monitor, which we're very excited about, and we're launching this month. So that's the story.
That's great. So let's start off by talking about, over the last few years, we've seen how, I'd love to talk about how technology has really changed the modern nursery space. And we have several moms on our panel, and moms of 3, and also having children at different times. So you've really seen the evolution of how parenting has changed over time. So if Jeana, you want to take this first, and then we can go around.
Sure. So like I said, my kids are varying ages, and when my 10-year-old, he's almost 11, was a newborn, I mean, there were really scratchy audio monitors that if you moved to a certain part of the house, you would lose the connection. And so now with my 2-year-old, going from that to being able to see her on my smartphone is just incredible to me. And there are so many products, even like tracking temperatures, you can do that. I was just at the Withings booth, and they have this new thermo temperature scanner that has come out that they're launching, and it's stuff like that that I think makes parenting so much easier. Your products as well, as a first-time mom, you're so nervous about how much your baby's getting, if he or she is drinking enough, and so being able to track weight and not have to schlep the baby to the doctor's office is just such a huge convenience, and something that really does make parenting easier.
So one more thing to add is that I think parenting has changed a ton, and it also hasn't, right? The reality is what we all want is everyone is trying to raise healthy, happy babies, and that remains the same whether we have advanced technology or whether we don't. So the fundamentals of becoming a parent are still the same, and I think really, to add on to the earlier point is now we have tools to try to make things easier. And I think finding that right balance between making things easier and making things and increasing anxiety is really super important. And I think that's something that we've all really been very careful to think about with the design of our products. But again, technology should be a partner to mom, and I think our products do just that. I also think it's important to think about, as a parent, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, you really didn't, you just had information from a book. Then the internet came along, and this is what we're all doing here is a natural evolution of that. Now, we're going from mass personalized information to truly individualized information about your child and your experience, and that is an incredibly powerful experience to have, and something that will make the medical community smarter and individual parents smarter. So I think it's a fantastic thing for all of us.
Yeah, I fully recognize that. I think also it's very good to realize that the new parents of today are actually millennials themselves. And almost 75% of them, they recognize to be very open to technology, and we see that number only growing and thereby fueling actually the industry. I fully recognize Anne's point on individualization. It's so important to actually bring relevant information at the moment that is relevant for them and personalized to their needs and their situation. To build on that, what we also see is actually more and more importance of the health aspect of that. And I think you already mentioned, the questions that parents have about feeding, about sleep. So the critical importance of propositions and algorithms to be actually medically validated, to be true validated advice and coaching for parents to help them.
Yeah, sorry. And I think the last thing is that building off of both of your points, or everyone's points, is that parents want products that they can trust, and they also want design, and they want products that work. And we're here at the Consumer Electronics Show, and this is the first time we've had BabyTech, and for so long, it was scratchy audio monitors. And now, every parent that's out there, they want to be able to use it from their phone, they want it to be seamless, they want it to be beautiful. And I think we're all trying really hard to be able to deliver that and to deliver a new experience to moms that's tailored to them, that they can feel excited about, so that they're not left in some back hallway of a retail merchandiser with some product they don't love.
That's great. So one question that we get so often from our parents is, do we really need all of this technology? And does it add a level of complexity to parenting that we don't actually need? Because generations of parents have done it without technology, so what makes this different or more useful to the millennial parent? So
I'll start. So the millennial parent, what we know about millennial parents is they track. They're very interested in data, and it's really become a part of our world. By no means would any one of us want anyone to use our products that isn't interested, but I think the market has spoken, and really data and tracking and information is something that parents are very hungry for, as is the population in general. So I think, yeah, clearly Internet of Things has made it much easier for us to create these sort of things and made these things much more affordable, and I think this trend is here to stay. Again, going back to the earlier point I made of before the internet, doctors, there were some doctors who were worried about, well, this is too much information, and there were some people that were worried this is too much information, and I think that will exist today. And again, for those for whom it's too much, they won't use, but for those whom want, they will.
Yeah, I think that's true. I also think that you can totally go overboard and there can be too much, but I think that one thing that parents want is something that they can trust, and we can all use data to make our products better. To give parents a sense that they can trust the information that they're getting, to know whether or not their baby's okay, if they're sleeping in the right range, what infant sleep actually looks like. Most infant sleep studies that have been done to date, the sample size is typically 10 babies for a week, which is nowhere near statistically significant. Being able to grow that and make that actually be a viable body of knowledge that we can bring to customers and say, this is what your baby should be sleeping like, this is how you can get more sleep, this is what we need to be moving towards. It's so important.
I agree, and I think that from my standpoint, and millennials, I'm definitely not a millennial anymore, but I would consider myself somewhat of an early adopter. I love testing out products, but for me, it has to be easy. And so when you say, is all of this tech necessary? I think it is, as long as it works and it's easy to use. I have struggled sometimes with technology that on the surface appears very cool, but then if I can't even figure it out, I'll just walk away from it because I don't have the time to figure it out. So it has to be seamless, and it has to be easy enough to use that I want to use it every day.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, of course, it's always a matter of balance. Clearly, not being a millennial, looking at the opportunity that digital innovation gives, and the coaching and advice actually we are able to collectively give to parents based on all this technology. I wished my children were born now. I think we all as parents recognize the challenges that are there, and the opportunity, as said before, is massive, being able to make a true impact on the health.
So you guys all tapped on a very important point about the ease of use and the simplicity of the product. And I'd love for each of you to talk a little bit more about your product interface and what makes it easy and intuitive for parents to use and create this new habit loop.
So we created the Smart Changing Pad. That's our first product, and it is basically a redesign of the traditional diaper changing pad that's found in nearly every baby nursery. So basically we took something that already takes a bunch of room in your nursery and we made it much more useful. We made it a tool that will help you meet your breastfeeding goals, which today, unfortunately, most moms don't meet. And we made it a tool to help you track your baby's weight and see their growth over time in between doctor's visits. As far as ease of use, it is a diaper changing pad. You can use it as a regular diaper changing pad, but when you want, you can touch the LCD and you can take a weight, you can start a feeding, or you can record diapers. The reality is, again, parents today are tracking. They are manually adding sleep information, nursing start times, nursing stop times. They are going through the effort of manually writing all these things down in an app or on a piece of paper if they so choose. And that behavior suggests how much they want this, how much they would love to have a passive way to do this. So yeah, from an ease of use standpoint, the app is best in class, and we think the interface on the device itself is real simple as well.
Yeah, so we took a similar page as Ann did, but we actually took a onesie and made it into a baby monitor. So if you've had a baby, you use about 1,000 of these. These are actually, the green stripes are actually the respiration sensors. And then with this turtle, we're able to get body position and skin temperature as well. So we send live information right to your smartphone. So wherever you are, you can look in, see if your baby's breathing, how they're sleeping, if they're too warm, on their tummy, on their back. And then every night you get a snapshot of the baby's sleep quality. We also send alerts to let you know if the baby woke up or rolled over. For our user interface, we did a ton of testing with parents. For our monitor product, you want something that you wake up in the middle of the night and you can instantaneously understand what's going on. Everything's color-coded, so you get really instantaneous understanding based on what color the app is showing you. And we also try to simplify it as much as possible, so you're not being overloaded with information. But you're getting exactly what you need, and you can start to add more as you go deeper. I do think that for connected products, something that will continue to be difficult for probably a little while is looking at internet connectivity. And so for anyone who's doing that, it's a tough thing that everyone at this conference is working through. But that's changing day over day with the new hardware that's coming out, and we just need to work to deliver a better experience to parents that's absolutely seamless.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a product, but as a consumer of these products, I really foresee in the next couple of years having some kind of centralized system within homes, whether it's a household dashboard where all of your devices and apps are all managed in one place. Whatever that is, and whoever's inventing that, that's a great idea, because I feel like we have so many different gadgets right now that use so many different apps, and that's when I think you start to lose that adoption. It's like, I don't want another app, I don't want another gadget. So being able to keep a centralized place for all of that would be fantastic, and I would envision that that's what's going to happen.
Well, I would be almost tempted to say that's actually the offer that we have. Actually, as Philips, so we are building a platform that actually combines medical and consumer data, and combines it actually in one app with indeed the idea. It actually summarizes it on a very consumer-friendly timeline that allows you to very easily, as a consumer, track and see and get your insights and act upon it. And actually it's linked to a ecosystem of products. We actually I'm quite excited about so many cool products that we see here. So we also talked to some of the people to see how we can partner to actually make it easier and better for consumers, for our consumers. So yeah, that's how we're trying to contribute. Of course, also with our own products, like the connected baby monitor that I mentioned before, that's connected to it and feeding directly into the platform.
So Aliëtte, that's an interesting point, because Philips Avent does have a suite of different products. And can you give us a sneak peek of what the company is working towards? What is that future vision going to look like, where your products will be talking to each other and be smart enough that they will kind of really create a suite of products that are connected to each other and talking to each other to create this high-tech modern nursery of the future?
Well, at the booth here, we are, of course, showcasing our uGrow platform and the connected baby monitor. Actually, directly after this panel, there's actually a presentation in the middle for anyone who has more interest and like to understand and see more of it. In terms of our pipeline, I'm happy to give you an update at the next stage.
Good, sounds good. So one of the big concerns, and we had recently done a survey of over 9,000 moms on the bump, and 76% of those moms believe technology does fundamentally help make parenting easier, but one big concern is always security, especially around the lives of their children and their babies. And so as we have more products talking to each other and they are becoming smarter, how are your companies and products addressing the security issue and concern of parents?
Sure. I think any venture-funded startup today, or frankly any startup period, or in any company period, knows how important security is. If you don't, to Dulcie's point, if you don't have trust, you don't have anything. So it's been a huge priority of us to make sure that our architecture is totally secure. The other thing too that's important to us is, so we collect information about weight, information about feedings, but we don't tie it to an individual, and we have no social security numbers or individual full names. So we've been very careful in our design not to take information that we don't need. That said, we know that parents want to share this app with their caregivers, with a lactation consultant, with a nanny. When they go back to work, they want to be informed through our notifications that my baby just ate. They want to know that stuff. So it is a parent-driven thing, but it is absolutely secure in the back end. And I think it's a great thing that you brought up, and really, really important for all of us as an industry to keep in mind that trust is paramount.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is exactly what Anne said, right? I think as a team that's building this out, you need to stay ahead of the curve. So you're looking at the best open source technologies available for your software base. If you're being hosted in the cloud, looking at who that's with, whether it's Amazon, how they're protecting it, how you're storing it. And then I think the other thing is also privacy. Thinking about how you're building your privacy policy as a company. Is it opt-in? Is it opt-out? I tend to be a favor of opt-in if anyone's going to share anything. Being really clear to your customer, this is what we are collecting, this is what we're doing with it. We might be sharing it with someone, we don't. But as we also start to integrate across the back end, we have a partnership with Nest. And that freaks some parents out, right? They're Google, they're huge. So being really, really clear that we're only taking information from them, we're integrating that, and continuing to sort of build the standard for parents so that they can understand what's happening, know the questions to ask, and then find it as they need to if they become concerned.
Yeah, obviously privacy and security is of key concern and of key importance. Like this. And it's not off, I think. Is it on? Is the mic on now? Yeah? Okay, so obviously it's of key importance to us. We make a lot of effort to make sure that it's fully secure, our app, our products and everything. I mentioned before medical data, which is of course even more under strict regulation. We're actually storing our data on the Philips Health Suite digital platform, which is fully developed under the highest security protocols. And I fully agree with what Dulcie was saying about, it's very important to be transparent to consumers, to be clear, to ask their consent, to be clear on how and what the data and how the data is being used. So fully endorse.
Yeah, and I think also in addition to the security standpoint, we also have to talk about safety and parents really wondering if it is safe to have something on their bodies all the time. So I would urge vendors to make sure that they really are very clear about how their products interact, especially when you're talking about a newborn. Is it okay for a newborn to have something around them all the time that you can check on your smartphone? So from a parenting standpoint and from a media standpoint, that's what I would be interested in as well.
Right. That's a great point, Jeana. And from all of your products, I'm sure you do so much usability research. And what is the next iteration of that you're developing with your product?
Sure. So we know there a couple concerns that parents have when they first have a baby. Actually, there are many concerns, but the two that rise to the top for us are, one, the product that we're creating addresses, which is my baby growing as she should be? Is my baby getting enough nutrition, and is she staying on the right growth curve? That's one. Another area is sleep. So sleep is super interesting, and I think that's clearly what Dulcie is targeted to begin with. So those are really the two areas that are most interesting to us. As far as the next evolution of our product, we are launching our product today, so the specifics of what we'll do next are certainly not ironed out, but we do want to make sure that this is a product that everyone can have, and so we're figuring out how we can make it even more ubiquitous. And again, on the app side, the app is free, and the app will hopefully be used by all.
Yeah, as we think about it, we're thinking about both iterations on the software side. So we were able to collect a huge amount of infant sleep data, being able to make sense of that for parents, looking at sleep percentiles, being able to present sleep tracking trends, sleep training. So once babies are starting to transition to sleeping throughout the night, being able to use our database to help parents do that more effectively and more quickly so that you can actually start getting a good night's sleep. On the other side of things, it's hardware. And just like Anne said, feeding is something that's important. So we're actually building a smart bottle warmer that keeps the bottle cool, warms it up. If we are using a sleep product, we know when your baby's going to wake up. And if we know your feeding schedule, we know if the baby's going to be hungry. So by the time you're out of bed, the bottle's warmed up and ready to go. And then you can track it as you go.
Well, for us, linked to what I just said on the first 1,000 days, actually that starts with early pregnancy. So we're looking at to actually coaching and advice through the whole journey, so from fertility, pregnancy to parenting, and obviously in the area of healthy development, and key areas being within that is obviously the area of feeding, security and comforting.
And Dulcie, remind me if this is correct. Do you guys also have a crib sheet?
Oh yeah, we also have a crib sheet. Yeah. So
talk about that a little bit.
If you go to our booth, it's basically just a smart sheet. So it has larger versions of the sensors. It doesn't get breathing data because it's not going across the baby's body, but we get movement and activity. Uses exactly the same hardware, so when you use either product, you just tell the app what to do, and our back-end algorithms start to change it over. Also, it gets skin temperature, room temperature, and audio. So the whole system is starting to be built together, which is pretty cool.
And one thing that seems to be, and what we've been seeing at CES, is so many different partnerships between companies, and I'd love for each of you to speak a little bit to that, especially since you just announced that Mimo is working with Google Nest, and do you foresee your companies working with other companies to create a suite of products that make sense and connect to the larger home as well?
Yeah, so when we think about who we want to be the experience that helps support new parenthood. We want to be the place that people come and learn information and get support about their particular experience. We know how valuable sites like The Bump are to folks, and we want to include that sort of information for our parents, whether they're through partnerships or whether it's through our own experience is to be seen. But we do think that holistic experience to help you understand the development of your individual child, to basically take what is today on the internet really a mass personalized experience and to make it a truly individual experience is really important to us, and that is our long-term vision. We absolutely are open to partnering with people. We do think our app is something that will become a hub and a platform, and as people use that and as the audience grows, we intend to port other products into our app. Whether they're made by us or made by others, we don't care. We are just interested in supporting in parents in whatever products they say they're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the biggest thing is this helpful to a parent? Is it useful? And how is this changing the user experience? Are we adding a zillion apps that different parents have to navigate through, or are we creating a seamless experience from start to finish? We were lucky to partner with Nest, so we're using the Nest Cam and the Nest Learning Thermostat, and you can navigate and see all that within our app. And the biggest thing for us to think about is how to develop partnerships across the nursery and across the parenting experience, whether or not it's looking at the other hardware products that are here that are awesome, but also beginning to extend that beyond to the rest of the house. So whatever you're using as we're building out this huge connected smart home, being able to integrate all of it together so that as you think about a family, you're thinking about a household. And if there are key points of integration, making sure that we're all building that together.
Centralized dashboard.
Yes.
That's it.
All
That's
dashboards all the time, but one.
So this is great because, Jeana, you've seen a lot of products, and this is your beat. And what have you seen, and to look into your crystal ball or your magic 8-ball of the future, and to tell us what you think are going to be the products that are going to appeal to the millennial parent?
That's hard to say. I would love to see a product that changes diapers. I don't know if that's in the near future. I would really love to see that.
Anna's working on it.
Okay, great.
You know what, my husband,
Great.
you know what his idea is for our next product? He wants a baby bidet. He doesn't want to change another poopy diaper. It's a joke. It's not a real product. We won't be coming out with it. That is his dream job. No more poopy
I
diapers.
see a partnership between Hatch and Toto toilets, perhaps.
I think we're going to just start seeing more proliferation of tech into every aspect of babies' lives. Obviously, we're seeing it with toys. We have wearables, and now we have baby wearables. We're going to see it with feeding products. I think tech is just going to be a daily part of our babies' lives as much as it is a part of ours. So it's hard to pinpoint a specific product. I think it's just going to be a lot more prevalent in the ways we interact with our babies.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the power is and the benefit is really with the consumers. If we find a way to build strong partnerships and actually translate all the data, because with all these products, new connected products, there will be so much data. So I think the trick is indeed into strong partnerships and finding a way to translate that data into meaningful information for parents. And if you just think about some of the problems that are out there, they're pretty fundamental. Like, for example, we all are pretty aware that many women actually don't meet their breastfeeding goals. 90% of women, they say, I want to breastfeed, and 60% of them actually in the first 10 days indicate they have such big problems that makes them want to stop. We also know that actually with the right coaching and advice at the right moment, actually we know how to overcome those barriers. And if we work together, we actually can track and get the right data to give those parents the right advice, so enable them to actually meet their breastfeeding goals, and with breastfeeding being the healthiest start in life, actually get the baby off to a healthier start. That's just one example. I could go on and on and on, but I think for me that's what the essence is and the benefit is, and that's where I would see the whole baby tech moving forward.
So I've also noticed that we have a panel of all women here, and so much the thinking oftentimes is that technology appeals to more of the male audience, and I'd love to hear just from your own data with your products, what has been the split between the genders of who's been embracing the products?
That's a great question. First of all, I do want to recognize that this is an all-female panel, and when does that ever happen? No offense to the men in the room, but that's pretty awesome. This is an all-female panel. So as far as who our product appeals to, I think it appeals to parents. Both parents can have, hold on, that's my... both parents can have access to the app, as does a caregiver or a grandparent, and we really do see most accounts are shared accounts, because in those early days and weeks and months, both parents in today's world, both parents are actively involved and they actively care. This is not a world where one person goes off to the office and, honey, you take care of it. I think it's very much a world where both parents care passionately. So we've seen really everyone involved.
Yeah, definitely. So we see actually about an even split as well, and we know from our user base that people use the product for different reasons, but it does tend to be about half male, half female, so both the mom and the dad. But we do, whenever we're talking to people who are setting up the product, it's almost always the dads, which is usually because the mom is feeding the baby or holding the baby, or it's just a lot to do. But setup does tend to be more of the dad role or the male role, or whichever. But I think it's actually pretty split, and dads, I think, are taking a more and more active role, and actually our team, we have a couple dads on our team who are like, this is not just for moms, it's not just for women, it's for fathers as well. So, yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah, we see also, of course, parenting is not anymore something of the mom, it's of the mom and dad. And I think actually the technology enables that as well. Like, if I, give the example of our connected baby monitor, it actually allows you to connect with the baby wherever you are. So actually dad at work can have, a peek at the baby, or mom going back to work, maybe dad taking care of the baby, can actually still be connected to her baby. So I think with the connected, it becomes actually a lot more seamless and a lot more easier for both parents to be fully involved.
And Jeana, since you cover this is your beat, but when you bring products home, do you see that your partner is much more excited about certain products and you certainly gravitate towards others, or do you both are excited?
No, I'm the one who's excited. He's the one who I have to teach. He's not as much of a technology enthusiast as I am, but I think when it comes to parenting products, obviously it depends on the products, but I feel like there's some genetic piece of women, and maybe this is a stereotype, that kind of want to have this whole brain space and knowledge about kids, the family, the household, everything. My husband is an incredible dad, incredible husband, and he's very involved, but he doesn't know half of what I know in terms of kid management, baby management, house management. So I think there's just some genetic piece to that as well. At least for me.
Well, he can't really do anything about that part, the genetic part. Okay, so let's talk about looking a little forward into the future. Final question. 5 years into the future, the majority of nurseries these days have baby monitors, but if you were going to look into the future, what are some of the tech devices as well as innovations that you see will be part of almost every nursery in the United States?
I'll answer real quickly because I unfortunately have to bow out in a second. But for me, it goes back to, again, the fundamental concerns of parenting are not going to change. The fundamental concerns are, is my baby healthy? Is my baby normal? And when can I go back to leading a normal life? And I think really the innovations, I think we'll just get better and better at being able to track. We'll get better and better at being able to give you individualized information and support. Support will be, medical services are coming to the home. These products are coming to the home, and so I think the issues are not going to change. The issues are always going to be the same, and the innovations will be around supporting those same issues. And I apologize, I have to go.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah. As for me, I think that a lot of it's going to be a lot more ambient. So there's a lot that's being done for sort of remote active monitoring that's also passive. So it will be less thing that parents have to do, less devices that parents actually have to interact with, fewer touch points, but the entire ecosystem and environment will just get smarter. I also think that there is a ton that can happen in feeding. Breast pumps are still the worst. I think that's going to be revolutionized. And I also think that early childhood education and learning is going to start to happen actively, smarter, earlier. And I think that that's going to start to creep into the nursery rather than just 3 or 4. And we'll be able to see some really cool things there as well.
That's great.
I think we'll be seeing everything in the nursery turn smarter. So the basics are going to remain the same. There's going to be a crib, but it's going to be a smart crib. There's going to be a rocking chair. It's going to be a smart rocking chair that you can stream lullabies through. Things like that, I think the fundamentals of the nursery are going to be there. They're just all going to be digitized.
Yeah, I agree that the fundamental needs are not going to change too much. I think the direction in development is going to go in 2 directions, or 2 things. One thing is really this personalization, parents really expecting also from their connected devices to really understand them and also deliver to their individual needs. So that's one. And the other thing I mentioned before as well is the medical advice. I think the health and the change in our health system and the expectation of parents to what we offer to them in terms of advice and health is going to be key and critical, and with the opportunity to make an enormous impact.
Thank you. Any final thoughts from our panelists before we wrap things up? Good?
Dashboard
Dashboard.
for parents.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
A centralized
dashboard.
dashboard.
One place. Yeah, important.
Yes, well, let's talk further. As Philips, happy to provide that dashboard.
So we're going to make the centralized dashboard happen, but thank you to our incredible panelists for talking about this fascinating topic that's ever evolving and will continue to change. Thank you to you guys for coming by and listening to this talk, and hopefully we'll see you at 3:30.
Thank you.